It's The Real News. I'm Ben Norton. Saudi Arabia has for 3 long years relentlessly bombed Yemen with crucial assistance from the United States and the United Kingdom. This joint U.S.-Saudi war, which gets virtually zero attention in American TV and news broadcasts, has unleashed the worst humanitarian crisis on earth, fueling hundreds of thousands of preventable Yemeni deaths and creating the worst cholera epidemic in recorded history. Yemenis have fought back against the Saudi bombing campaign from the very beginning, often resorting to unique and creative tactics and other forms of resistance. Ahmed Jahaf, a Yemeni graphic designer and artist, has used visual media to raise awareness about the international war on his country, Yemen. Ahmed, his wife, and his 2 children have struggled for years, living under constant bombardment and a suffocating blockade in Yemen's capital city, Sanaa. In a previous interview with The Real News, Ahmed discussed the difficulties of life amid U.S.-Saudi war. Today, we are going to speak with him about how he has used art and graphic design to resist that calamitous war. Thanks so much for joining us on The Real News, Ahmed.
Thank you so much.
Well, first I want to preface for the audience noting that in this video we will be highlighting a small selection of the artworks Ahmed has made. He is an extremely prolific artist, and you can find more of his pieces at his website, ajahaf.com. That is ajahaf.com. And he's an amazing graphic designer, and you can find a lot of his work there. So Ahmed, can you speak a little bit about what motivates you as an artist? Why do you create art and graphic design?
I use graphic designs and art just to show the world what's happening around me. It is my way to show the world what happened and what's happening in front of me, around me, inside my country. People who talk to the media, people who wrote reports. I use my way as artist and graphic designer to make this way to get the attention of people to know what's happening in Yemen. Some pictures of the war crimes. It's difficult to people to see the blood or something like this. I change it to the art to send the message in my art, but not like the real picture of blood and children with blood, like something like this.
Yeah, and sometimes you even have a touch of humor, which is incredible because you're dealing with very dark issues.
Yeah, I have it.
One of the points that you also emphasize in your art is the global nature of the war. This is not just Saudi Arabia waging a war in Yemen. In your art, you frequently have symbols from the United States, the United Kingdom, and other countries. Can you speak about the international nature of this war?
Yeah, like countries who support Saudi Arabia and UAE. For me, as artist, I believe Saudi Arabia can't do anything without the US, UK, and other countries. That's why I always trying to not just make art of Saudi Arabia. I make USA, UK, Italy, Canada, who support Saudi, who sell arms to Saudi as a partner of the war crimes and forgotten war in Yemen. Put the flags of the US and UK on bombs or on the airstrikes, something like this, to show we inside Yemen, we know that not only Saudi Arabia who's bombing Yemen, not only Saudi Arabia. We know that US and UK and many countries, like more than 10 countries, but we always say US and UK because they are the great country, the most country who supports Saudi Arabia. As in Yemen, we believe also, as I said, Saudi Arabia can't do anything without US agree and UK.
And then can you talk about the symbols and themes you use in your art? You're very creative in your use of a sword to represent Saudi Arabia, and you use other symbols, the eagle for the United States. How do you think of many of these symbolic themes, and then how do you represent them in your art?
Yeah, I use it. And first, people they ask me why you use this. People they don't know this is for Saudi Arabia and this is for another country. But after 3 years and many art, they saw some they show sword and some symbols that they know that USA, that Saudi Arabia, and this is creative as you say. And I like it. I like to use this kind.
Yeah, it's very unique. It's very clever. Can you talk about what got you into graphic design? Have you always been an artist, or was it the war itself 3 years ago that inspired you to begin creating these artworks?
No, I used to be a graphic designer just for motion graphics. But after the first day on this war, 26 March 2015, I started to be only just artist, graphic designer of the war, of the forgotten war in Yemen only. I lived all my work, hobbies, just make art and trying to show the world what's going on using Twitter. Sometimes I send reports to people about there is some jets flying over Sanaa. There is a new war crime in Sada, in Hodeidah, in Sanaa. Yeah, like a reporter and artist and graphic designer.
Yeah, and what's incredible is you have so many artworks, and you're so responsive to many of these things that are happening. I frequently see on Twitter and your website that you just post more and more artwork. So what response have you gotten to your art, not just inside Yemen but around the world? Because what's interesting is I've seen some printouts of your art at protests here in the United States. I've seen photos of it at protests in the United Kingdom. How have you been received internationally for your work?
This is the message that my art arrives to the people outside in Yemen. Inside in Yemen, maybe people they don't know about my art. I only use my art to people outside in Yemen and UK and US and Germany, many countries. And as you said, they use my art in protests and in TV media because of there is some amazing activities like you and Sam and many people. They still stand with Yemen.
And then finally, in Palestine, there's this concept of sumud, right? That Palestinians will always resist through existence. The act of existence itself is an act of resistance. How do you see your art as a form of resistance? And then how do you think other Yemenis are engaging in other creative forms of resistance and refusing to submit to this international Saudi, US-backed war on their country?
Yeah, مقاومات against Saudi Arabia. Yeah, I think we are a part of Mugawama and resistance because the enemy is the same one, is Saudi Arabia, and who supports Saudi Arabia in Lebanon and Palestine and Iraq and Yemen is the same country. I know there's some Israel and Saudi Arabia is the same for us inside in Yemen.
You are using art as a form of resistance, as a creative form of resistance. Okay. What are some other Yemenis doing to also resist in these kinds of creative ways?
Yes, some they are drawing some caricatures, some they are using words, motion graphics, videos, protest outside in Yemen, they brought many kind of ways to resistance Saudi Arabia.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, Ahmed. Again, for the audience, the artworks we showed in this video by Ahmed are just a small selection of the graphic design he has done. You can find more of his artworks at his website, which is ajahaf.com. That is ajahaf.com. Thanks so much for joining us, Ahmed.
Thank you so much.
You can follow Ahmed on social media, especially on Twitter, where he's very active. I'm Ben Norton, reporting here for The Real News. Thanks for joining us.